What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's premier has visited leading opposition figures to discuss the next steps after the country's legislature passed several controversial reforms. As Rick Lauer reports, political divisions continue to widen in the country.
An awkward meeting between Taiwan's Premier Zhou Rongtai and opposition Kuomintang Corpus Whip Fu Kunqi. Fu's KMT, along with another opposition party, have pushed through controversial reforms to increase the legislature's powers. Zhou and his cabinet have vowed to veto the bills and send it back to the lawmakers.
当中条文有部分是对于未来在执行上是有窒碍难行之虞，只要行政院依照宪政的程序做任何的行为，我希望大院都不要把它当作是一种对大院的不礼貌。
Reforms have sparked physical fights in the legislature and brought tens of thousands of people onto the streets in protest. The ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or the DPP, says opposition lawmakers hid details and forced through a bill. Taiwan's political divisions run deep, and the KMT says they are just behaving how the DPP did when they had control of the legislature.
过去的8年，在蔡英文前总统带领之下，民进党一党独大，85%以上的法案都是强行表决通过。
But the DPP, which won the presidency in January elections but lost control of the legislature, says the new bills could be unconstitutional. DPP lawmakers have vowed to take it to the Constitutional Court if it becomes law. For the moment, the high political drama is on hold, but partisan political sparring continues. The KMT, emboldened by its success in the legislature, has vowed to go after the DPP on previous scandals, and are also now accusing its rival of infringing on people's right to privacy by using data from mobile phone networks to profile the protests. Taiwan is getting used to a new political landscape as the country sees its first divided government in 2 decades. The drama in the legislature has reminded everyone just how big political divisions are here. The task now for the country's leaders is how to resolve those differences. Joseph Wu and Rick Lauer for TaiwanPlus.
A Hong Kong court has found 14 pro-democracy activists guilty of conspiracy to commit subversion. 16 activists and politicians were on trial for participating in an unofficial election in 2020. They are among 47 people now in detention and awaiting a verdict. It's the largest trial so far under the city's Beijing-imposed national security law. The law was imposed to refuse 5 demands activists raised during pro-democracy protests in 2019. And to learn more about the trials and what this means for the future of Hong Kong's democracy, our reporter Tiffany Wong spoke with former Hong Kong district councillor and political scientist Michael Mo.
These 47 pro-democracy activists were arrested under the national security law for their involvement in an unofficial election in 2020. Was there a real threat to Hong Kong's national security there?
So according to the judgment just being uploaded by the Hong Kong court this morning, the court itself found that most of the candidates themselves do subscribe to Benny Tai's idea of using the power as a legislator to compel the Hong Kong authorities to respond to the 5 major demands that is being brought up in the anti-extradition law movement in 2019. So the court accepted or viewed that the plan itself is a form of subversion because of the means they use to veto the government's budget, whether it is proactively, as the moderate pro-democracy lawmakers or activists said, or will use it indiscriminately, like those radical wings or the localist factions would put it.
So you mentioned there were 5 pro-democracy demands that the Hong Kong government viewed as a threat. Could you tell us more about these 16 activists and their verdicts today?
So the 16 of the defendants who have got the decision from the court today were the ones who plead not guilty. The only two persons who have found not guilty are Lawrence Lau, who himself is a barrister, and Li Yusheng. So these two people have not demonstrated, according to the court, that they either stopped or did not continue to rally for the 5 demands being raised out in the pro-democracy movement in 2019 in the election campaign since the NSL has become the law.
What do you think we should pay attention to with these verdicts and trials as they continue?
We should keep an eye on how severe the sentence could be. As for the crime of subversion, as they put it in the NSL, the most severe sentences will be life imprisonment. And the second thing to watch is that after the decision or the judgment has been handed down by the court today, would there be other arrests be made by the relationship to the pro-democracy primary case? For instance, maybe the Democratic Party leaders or the assistants or the staffers of all the defendants. So if it happens, it will happen pretty much in a very short time frame, I'm afraid.
That was political scientist Michael Mo speaking with our reporter Tiffany Wong. Former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra is said to be indicted for allegedly insulting the country's monarchy. The Thai Attorney General says Thaksin violated royal insult laws in a 2015 interview with foreign media. He's been ordered to appear in court in mid-June. Thaksin's lawyer says he's ready to defend himself in court and raise doubts about the authenticity of the interview video. Thaksin returned to Thailand last year after 15 years of self-imposed exile. Mexico looks set to elect its first female president this weekend as campaigning concludes in the country's general elections. Support polls show ruling party candidate Claudia Sheinbaum in the lead, followed by Xochitl Gálvez of the main opposition party. Both Sheinbaum and Gálvez have promised to address the country's high rates of gender-based violence and gender disparities if elected. Temperatures have hit record highs in multiple Indian states as a heat wave sweeps the country, with parts of Delhi hitting 52 degrees Celsius. There was a preliminary reading from one weather station. If confirmed, it would be the highest temperature in India's history. A heat wave alert has been in place for large parts of the country since last week, with temperatures still climbing. At least 6 people have died of heat stroke in the western state of Rajasthan, where temperatures hit 49 degrees. The extreme weather is being attributed to El Nino and human-driven climate change. Residents say the heat is making it hard to live.
गर्मी बहुत ज़्यादा तापमान बहुत ज़्यादा हाई हो गया गर्मी का अब चलते हैं तो ऐसा लगता है कि मुंह पे कोई थप्पड़ मार रहा हो इतना मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा जीना मुश्किल हो गया है.
The city of Hsinchu is trying to make its many high rises safer in the wake of a deadly fire. But fire safety experts say existing rules need to be better implemented before the push can make a difference. John Van Trieste reports.
Residents of a Hsinchu city apartment complex that caught fire Sunday returned for their belongings. Though the fire didn't destroy the building, it killed 2 firefighters. And while the building still stands, there's been heavy smoke damage, and charred, greasy residue covers many of its walls. The building's power supply is still out too, making cleaning crews' jobs difficult. With so many challenges, it could be a month before the building is restored. The scale of the fire and the loss of 2 lives has spurred the Hsinchu city government to launch a fire safety drive.
就我们在市区当中已有很多的一些社区大楼比较高楼层的部分，我们必须也要来检讨说我们在安全检查或者是防火设备、防灾设备的这个部分，我们会加强这个检查相关的频度。我们现在目前可能确实真的需要再添购更高楼层能够救灾的这个云梯车。
But some fire safety experts say the city needs to do even more to make a real difference. Former firefighter and now safety consultant Lin Jinhong points to an existing rule that says buildings over 16 stories or 50 meters in height must have a fire prevention center. Lin says most of these centers are managed by inexperienced security guards or building managers who are unprepared for a real emergency. Lin says having the equipment to fight a fire is only the first step. Having people who know how to use it is the only way to make sure fires are stopped before they turn deadly. Klein Wang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A Thai migrant worker's body has been found in northeastern Taiwan, dumped at a dam by his employer. The undocumented worker had been feeling unwell but refrained from seeking medical treatment because he was working illegally. His wife found him dead at their dormitory on Monday and reported it to their employer. The employer and his other workers allegedly dumped the body to avoid an investigation into his illegal hiring practices. The wife told her husband's family in Thailand, who contacted officials for help. The employer is being investigated for abandoning a corpse and for possibly violating hiring rules. The Transport Ministry says the ban on Taiwanese tour groups visiting China will remain in place. But tours organized when the ban was briefly suspended last year will be allowed to proceed. Taiwan imposed a ban on group tours to China in 2019 after Beijing stopped allowing tourism to Taiwan. But Taipei has gone along with the Beijing-led initiative to open travel between China's Fujian province and Taiwan's Mazu Islands. Taiwan's Transportation Ministry says it will continue to open travel on a reciprocal basis. The average household size in Taiwan has hit a record low as more young people are choosing to move away from home. And with more senior citizens living alone, the government is trying to find ways to meet the growing demand for senior care. Wesley Lewis has the details.
Having a home of one's own. Two-bedroom apartments like this one listed in New Taipei are in high demand among young professionals. More young adults in Taiwan are choosing to live away from family, leading to shrinking average household sizes. In the past, it was very common to find 3 generations living in the same home, but that's no longer the case.
站在同堂的家庭越来越少，那再加上现在少子化，建商在推案的近年在推案的时候，它比较也是推出2房、3房，或者是甚至是小2房这样子的产品，那也是压低总价，那也可以加快销售的速度。
Another factor for shrinking household size is fewer young people getting married and having children. In April, the average household size in Taiwan hit a record low at 2.52 people per household. It was especially low in Taipei, with an average of just 2.35 people per household. Families say it has become normal to live separately.
儿子跟女儿都在外面住了，就是不习惯也要去适应啦。因为终究儿女成长，他们自己有自己的家，
个别出去住，假日就跟他们一起去亲子，平常是各上各的班。
As more families adjust to the new normal, more senior citizens are finding themselves living alone. It raises the question of how they will get the care they need.
一个人住的话，那么他的照顾可能就要透过外部的资源，包含可能是请移工啊、看护啦。我们现在有个两股的人力在做照顾的事情，一个是长照的部分，一个是外籍看护。这2个系统如果能够把它整合，你就可以发挥那种人力调度那个更有效使用的所产生的重效。
As Taiwan inches towards becoming a super-age society in 2025, when more than a fifth of the population will be 65 and older, caring for seniors living alone will be a growing challenge for the government. Luffy Lee and Wesley Lewis for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we rolled over to UK to show you these scenes from an annual Cooper's Hill cheese roll. I'm Yvonne Young. Take care, and I'll see you next time.